All right, Wednesday morning out on the beach. November, starting to cool off, and stopped at San Augustine Paddle Sports. Saw Dave on the way to the beach. Grabbed some shrimp as always, and got my fish bites, a little bit of fish gum, some 4-ounce sinkers, a couple of rods and reels, sand spikes, and my tackle box. I'm ready to rock. All right, let's catch some fish. Yeah, that's the name of the game, catching some fish, man. Last few trips out, I've been struggling. If you saw that last video I posted, the catch, clean, and cook for bluefish. Yeah, man, that was all I could do. And the most frustrating thing about it was the guys just to the north of me. I watched them reeling in pompano and whiting and more pompano and some whiting and more pompano. And I was just not in the right spot. See, that's when you know you should move. If you're standing there, not catching fish, and the person next to you is, that's a clue. You should move. Yeah, I was stubborn. I was like, no, this looks good. I'm going to stay here. Yeah, well, I didn't catch fish. There's a decent little whiting. None of these whiting were huge. One of them was okay. But, like I say, man, I've been struggling to catch fish, and I didn't have any fish in the freezer. And I was ready to take some fish home. So today, if they were legal, I was keeping them. I don't normally keep, little fish, but, these weren't tiny. They were all pretty decent size, but they filled the cooler up. I didn't get a ton of them. I think I got seven whiting and a decent pompano. Pompano was a little on the small side as well, but it was legal, so it went in the box. And, that's the way it goes. So, yeah, I ended up keeping some fish today. And, using my standard go-tos. This is the Penn Squall 2, size 12. I got it spooled up with Suffix Tritanium, 14 pound. I had shock leaders on both of these setups, but eventually I ended up breaking them off. So there's just I got lazy, and I'm just fishing with straight mono to leader. I made up my own leaders with my own rigs, my own pompano rigs with just some 30-pound fluorocarbon, and got a little pill floats on them. I don't know. I vary them. I have different ones, and just for variation, sometimes I'll change the colors, whatnot. And today I was fishing. I was going back and forth between fish bites, and I had some fish gum. And normally I fish with fish bites, and I do really good, especially that new ghost shrimp flavor they got going on there. It's definitely a winner. But today, for some reason, I was getting more hits on the fish gum, the Pompalicious pink and yellow. I don't know what it was, but it seemed to be getting most of the fish. I don't know. It's kind of half and half, but bait stealers out there. Bait stealers, that's for sure. I was it was weird, man. The bite, like normally, even with whiting, even with small whiting, they usually hit pretty hard. And today, everything was hitting really light. Where's that banging pompano bite at? Y'all don't be scared. Come on. Exactly. Where's that banging pompano bite? Like I was saying, everything was hitting pretty light. And, it was like normally you see the rods bending over, but I don't know. For some reason, the fish were just hitting light. So I had to, really watch the tips of the poles. And it's funny, sometimes tourists will come by and they'll see, the waves are going to move your line, hit your lines, which is going to make your rod tips move. And Oh, you're getting a bite, you're getting a bite. No, you know, when it's shaking, that's when you know you're getting a bite. And my rods were definitely not shaking a whole lot. You know, a few of them hit kind of decent, but overall, just really coming up and grabbing it. And some of them would grab it and like swim towards you. So, you know, a few times I just look and my pole was just standing straight up and the line was kind of slack. And yeah, sometimes that's the way they hit. You got to just run over there, grab it, and start reeling. And you don't know if you got a fish or what, and then all of a sudden you feel it. So that's kind of how today was. A really light bite this morning. Yes, indeed. Anyways, I was fishing, like I was saying, fishing fish gum and fish bites, and using the ghost shrimp and the fish gum. I was using the, I don't know, Pompalicious, Pomp Candy, whatever, the yellow and pink color. And, you know, picking out a few whiting here and there. This was a decent one. Wasn't huge by any means. Wasn't what I would consider bull whiting, but I would consider it whiting that went on the dinner table. Whiting that filled my plate with a few fine fillets of fresh fish, which I was wanting dearly. And not huge. Not huge, but it's filling the cooler slowly enough. You get a few of those small ones, and slowly your cooler gets fuller. Because I've left the beach with an empty cooler on several trips, and today I was determined to not do that. Yeah, like I was saying, I didn't have much in the fridge for meat, and doing the carnivore diet, that's pretty much all I'm eating is beef, chicken, and fish, and occasionally some pork here and there. Pork chop sandwiches. Yeah. Anyway, pork chop without the sandwich. But yeah, I was determined to bring some fish home, and I finally caught them biting. And it's funny, you know, I got a lot of friends that, you know, they'll say, hey, you've been fishing, and I'll say, yeah, I've been, you know, surf fishing, beach fishing, whatever, and they're like, man, do you ever catch anything? Because I've done that, and I've never caught anything on the beach. And I'm like, well, you know, yeah, I usually, for the most part, catch most of my fish on the beach. I really enjoy beach fishing, and I like fishing out of the boat. And yeah, here, ooh man, you know, you gotta take what you get with you know, when you're catching whiting and you're trying to catch pompano, you're gonna occasionally get these old boogers, the dreaded saltwater catfish. And you know, at least I'd rather catch this size than the little tiny ones. Man, those little tiny ones are hard to hold. And I got stuck by one of them. You're not welcome here. Yeah, you're not welcome here, catfish. Go away. Tell all your friends to stay away. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, I'd rather catch the decent sized catfish than those little tiny ones. Man, I got stuck by one of those little tiny ones. They're hard to hold. And they're whatever, their little fin stickers thing are like real tiny and sharp. Man, one of those things jabbed me in the finger. And that daggum thing hurt for like a month. I mean, it hurt like hell when it happened. Like 10 minutes later, my finger was throbbing. And then it stopped. And then the next day it hurt. And the next week it hurt. And like a month later, it was still hurting. Craziness. But yeah, you got to take the good with the bad. Sometimes you get those old mother-in-law fish is what some people call them. The old ugly catfish. Anyways, yeah, a lot of my friends are like, yeah, I never catch anything on the beach, you know. I don't know about that beach fishing. I don't know. You ought to take me with you someday. Hey, anybody's welcome to come with me, you know. I've always, there's plenty of room on the beach for fishing, that's for sure. It's not like boat fishing where you get to your spot and there's, you know, a ton of people. Although sometimes there is a lot of people beach fishing when, you know, when the pompano are running. I mean, it's you got to get there early and get your spot. But like I say in the last video, I started using the e-bike, and now I can hop on that thing, load it up with my fishing gear, and a couple rods, a couple sand spikes, my tackle, and my Jackson J crate that came with my kayak. I can throw some cold packs or ice packs in there, and have a cooler, a place to keep my tackle, all that. It also has rod holders on it, and I can throw my tackle box on the front of the bike and hit one spot, go to the next spot, go from there, and just make my way down the beach. There's tons of beach here in St. Johns County to fish, and you know, sometimes you only want to walk so far, but there's lots of places to fish. So, yeah, anybody that wants to come fishing with me, you're more than welcome to. And they ain't holding no big secrets. There's a few things to do and a few things not to do. I usually fish the tides, and I'm trying to fish the major and minor feeding times, which sometimes goes totally against the tides, but it does seem to work. And a lot of people just, hey, I go fishing when I can go fishing, and I get it. Sometimes that's the only time you can go, and that's the only time you can go, so that's when you go. But I try to plan it out, try to hit it early in the morning when the tide's coming in. That's my favorite time to fish. And I don't know, right when fishing was getting fired up, the mullet run was happening. And one of my videos you saw where I hooked a tarpon out there, and it was jumping, going crazy, and I was catching fish, caught a nice red. Everything was lining up, everything was good. The mullet were super thick, they were everywhere, and then the weather just went completely bonkers. The weather just went to hell. That's when we started getting hurricanes, and then it rained for like 2 weeks, and then the wind started blowing, and it blew and it blew and it blew. New kayak, I get up at 5:30 in the morning to maybe think about taking the kayak out, and the wind's already blowing like 16 to 18 miles an hour. So you got to go when you can go, and I get that. And when the weather's right, I'm going to try to hit it. That's the best you can do. It's just like surfing. The waves aren't always good, but when the conditions are right, you got to surf. It's kind of the same with fishing. But yeah, I was catching a few whiting here and there, and I got a pompano at the end of the run here. But yeah, there's another one of those darned old stinking catfish. I think I caught 4 in a row. It was crazy. I was ready to go, and then I caught another whiting and a pompano, and then I stayed longer. Funny how that works, isn't it? You say to yourself, okay, this is the last cast, and then you catch a decent fish, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I'll give it a little bit longer. Again, same with surfing. You're like, time to go. Okay, one more wave, and then that's a good wave, and then you want to get one more, and then it's not so good, and you're like, I can't end the session on a bad wave, so I got to get one more wave. Next thing you know, you're out there like an hour, 2 hours longer than you thought you were planning on being there. But hey, is what it is. But yeah, like I say, I enjoy beach fishing. There's a little pompano. He was small, but he was legal. I measured him, and he was legal, and he went in the box, and he came home, and I ate him that evening. I cleaned that pile of fish, and bada bing, bada bam, it went on the plate and down the hatch. So that's the other thing I enjoy about beach fishing is catching fresh fish. You never know what you're going to get. I usually target whiting, pompano, redfish. Occasionally you get some flounder out there. And then who knows what else. Sometimes sharks, sometimes ladyfish, sometimes catfish, sometimes this and that. You never know. But whiting, pompano, and redfish are my main targets out in the surf. I don't like these catfish. I don't want any more catfish. You, buddy, need to go tell all your friends to leave my bait alone. Okay? Yep, that's me having a conversation with a catfish. And maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Probably am. But thanks for watching, and hit the like button or the subscribe button if you want to see more of my zany ass videos. There you go. There you have it. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching as always. Bye bye.